cash a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need a pill. And life gon' get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by Final Form Supplements. Final Form Supplements is a supplement brand with honesty labeling. So the labeling in supplements is Wild Wild West. Sometimes labels aren't honest. They have things in there that's on in there. We don't have to worry about that with Final Form Supplements. We got everything you need from protein powder, creatine, skin care, soap for your skin, handcrafted soap, and we have all kinds of things. Go to finalformsubs.com, that's S-U-P-P-S, finalformsubs.com, use promo code COACHSTRIB, all caps, no space, get 10% off your order, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe on whichever video you're watching here at Ivy Talks Podcast Network, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the NFL coverage. I'd first like to apologize. I have been slacking, holidays, and different things. I had to take care of business with jobs and responsibilities, so I wasn't able to be consistent over the holidays with dropping for like the last couple weeks of the season, but we are here now. We are full swing in the middle of the NFL playoffs. So before we get started, obviously I don't have a previous week to really talk about because I think didn't do one for like week 16, 17, but let's just go ahead and get into the statistical leaders. So these are the statistical leaders as for the end of the regular season. So passing yards, we have Joe Burrow at 4,918. Passing touchdowns, Joe Burrow at 43. Receiving touchdowns, 1,708 for Jamar Chase. Receiving yards, I think I said touchdown. Receiving yards, 1,708, Jamar Chase. Receiving touchdowns, 17, Jamar Chase. Rushing yards, Saquon Barkley at 2,005. He was on pace to break the record. I believe he needed 101 yards to break the single season record, but the Eagles sat him the last game of the season just because they have a good shot at going to the Super Bowl. They have a good shot for winning the Super Bowl, and they did not want to risk injury, putting him in to try to beat a record. A little bittersweet there, but rushing our leader is Saquon Barkley. Rushing touchdown, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe I said that. I hope I said that right. At 16. Well, he had first way tied with Jahmyr Gibbs for the Detroit Lions, Derrick Henry, and James Cook at 16 for those three. It's tied at first. Interceptions, Kirby Joseph at 9. And defensive tackles, Zaire Franklin for the Indianapolis Colts. And sacks, Trey Hendrickson at 17.5 sacks in a single season. Played outstanding. So, real quick, let's go over standings. The overall standings, I know we had talked about, and we've also kind of have already kind of gotten to the weeds of it. But let me see. How do I want to do this? So, in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs had the number 1 spot. Bills are at 2. Ravens were at 3. Texans at 4. Texans are at 4. Where is Bills at 2, Baltimore at 3, Texans at 4, Broncos at 6, Broncos at 7, Steelers at 6, LA at 5. For NFC, Detroit at 1, Eagles at 2, Bucks at 3, LA at 4, Vikings at 5, Commanders at 6, Packers at 7. So for the wild card round is over. And so what do we have? Let's start. So let's go straight into it. So Saturday we had the Chargers and Texans. Texans beat the Chargers 32-12. CJ Stroud's looking good. Their run game is looking solid as they put up 32 points. They kind of did it by committee running wise, but they are getting it done when they need to. Steelers lose to the Ravens. Ravens beat the Steelers 28-14. Derrick Henry had him a night, 186 yards, 26 carries on 2 tutties. Lamar Jackson, 175, 2 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Lamar Jackson also had 81 yards on the ground. and it was pretty well evenly distributed receiving wise from Lamar Jackson. Then we had the Buffalo Bills beat the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Broncos 31-7. Buffalo Bills looks like a strong contender for the AFC Championship. Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. I believe Saquon Barkley had a pretty decent game. 119 yards, no touchdowns. And then Jalen Hurts, 131, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Bucks, tight game, close game there at the end. The Washington Commanders pull away with it, 23-20. Daniels with 268, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Baker Mayfield, 185, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. It came down to the wire. Mike Evans with 92 and a tutty there for Tampa Bay, but the Commanders squeak away with a field goal. And then last night, Rams, Vikings. I thought Vikings, it was pretty competitive early on, and the Rams just kind of got away with it. It's very interesting because the Minnesota Vikings their last game of the season was against Detroit to win the #1 spot in their division. They lost, and so they ended up playing Rams in the wild card. But 27-9, and Matt Stafford looks good. Sam Darnold did look good. There was a lot of miscues from the receiver, a couple of overthrown balls, or I think I don't want to say badly thrown balls. The balls were thrown well, but I do think in terms of how the route should have been ran or run based on where the defense was, the defenders are, which your safeties or your DBs, because if you're safe, depending on where your safeties and DBs or linebackers, if you're in the slot, depending on where they line up, the same route might look a little different because in a zone, you sit in the hole, man, you run across, and they over route, things like that. Anyway, but I hope Sam Darnold gets an extension. I kind of like seeing him with the Vikings, but we will see. Matt Stafford, he looks good. So, divisional, we have Texans versus Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are 8.5-point favorite. Commanders versus Lions. Lions are a 10-point favorite. Rams, Eagles. Eagles are 6.5-point favorite. And Ravens, Bills, which I think is going to be the game to watch. Ravens are a 1-point favorite. Ravens are a 1-point favorite. And I honestly think whoever wins between Ravens and Bills, I think is the one that's going to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I think Kansas City loses in the AFC Championship. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they do because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't generally bet against Patrick Mahomes. If you do, you'll lose more than you win. But I do believe this year the winner, the team that wins between the Ravens and Bills will be the team to make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. So it's going to be exciting. And then after that, we have the championship round and then Pro Bowl, Super Bowl. So we're winding down here at the end of the season. But we got some exciting basketball, some exciting football to look forward to this week. This is going to be all for the NFL coverage. Playoff edition. We'll catch you guys next week.
My destiny, I'm gonna chase my dreams. My life has